Good. Let me get the recording started here. Perfect, Coach. If you just want to start, let's get some general thoughts on the upcoming season for everybody.
I'm sure everyone's looking forward to getting started. Obviously, no scrimmages, no exhibitions this year, so we'll get started November 25th at Alabama. Just working, trying to get better each day.
Coach, is there something that you're most forward to looking, besides just starting, what are you most looking forward to this season?
To actually seeing a game again, seeing these kids on the court, and it was disappointing, I'm sure, for a lot of teams last year when the season got cut short, no tournament. It's just looking forward to playing again.
Okay, thanks, Coach. We are going to open it up to some questions. If a media member has a question, just go and let me know in the chat there that you have one, and then I will call on people in that order. All right, first up, Mark Edwards. Mark, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Coach Harper, you've got a lot of new players. Could you kind of break down your team position by position, kind of who you're looking forward to do things for you this year?
Wow, that would take a while.
We've got
almost a whole new team. I don't have a roster in front of me. I know we've got 15 guys. And when we look at them each day, I mean, we scrimmaged on Saturday, inter squad, and was just looking at stats, and they kind of change from week to week. Still a couple weeks before we play, I couldn't say that we have a starting lineup going into today. And we're trying to figure that out. But I think we have depth at every position, and that's a good thing. And there's competition at every position. And hopefully over the next couple of weeks, guys will start to separate themselves a little bit.
Mark, do you have a follow-up now? You can go ahead, and if you have a second question.
Yeah, just could you talk a little bit about who's maybe stepping forward as a team leader? Because you do have some guys back and who have some experience.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Kayne Henry, the guy that's been the most vocal for us has probably been Brandon Huffman. I mean, I think every day he's kind of that guy that tries to bring energy to practice. And he continues to get better each day. But I don't know that this team, we just got so many new guys. It's about developing chemistry and developing some camaraderie amongst themselves. And they've been a good group, but we've still got a ways to go.
Next up, we have Harry Schroeder, a question about players in the schedule.
Yeah, you talked about Brandon. Are all of your transfer guys, they are all eligible and ready to go? That's my first question. And then the second one is just about the way the OVC has set up the schedule. How do you see that as an advantage or disadvantage for you guys?
Yes, all of those guys are eligible, so we'll have everyone from day one. The schedule, it's going to be difficult. When you look at our schedule in particular, I mean, we play Austin Peay twice, Murray State twice, Belmont twice, Eastern Kentucky twice. I think Tennessee State was picked ahead of us twice. 10 of our 20 games are against the top 5 teams. So, but it is what it is. And I think anytime you don't play everyone twice, there's always going to be someone's going to have an advantage with the schedule. But we just got to go take care of business. And I think the league itself is going to be as deep as it's been since I've been in the league.
Thanks, Ray. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else with a question, please just let me know in the chat, and then I will call on you. Teddy Couch, go ahead, Teddy.
Hey, Coach. What's been the biggest challenges, I guess, with everything going on with COVID for you guys in practice? Has there been any kind of just, I guess, learning curves or things y'all have had to do that's kind of made things a little difficult, or has it been pretty smooth?
For us, it's been pretty smooth. I hope it stays that way. The learning curve is difficult, though. I mean, obviously, we need these guys to pick up on some things, and without the summer, we didn't really get to do anything in the summer, so we didn't get started until September with the 4 hours a week. But we see progress, and I think we'll see progress with this team throughout the season. But as I told them the other day, we're not going to have a lot of time to adjust once we start November 25th. We play, I think it's 5 games in about 7 days. So we'll have to be ready to go from day one.
Coach, tell us about that non-conference scheduling process. I don't know if you all had a schedule and then you had to scrap it and kind of start over since it's different this year. How did that all play out with ending up with what you did?
Yeah, our schedule got turned upside down. I mean, I think we lost 9 games from our original schedule. And we just worked on it daily. We thought some teams that were on the schedule prior to November 25th would still be able to keep those games. It didn't work out that way. Alabama was one of those games that we were able to keep. But from that point, it just got turned upside down. We had a game scheduled at South Alabama. They decided to put an MTE together, which actually was okay. We'll still get to play them, get 3 games out of that. But from that point, it got difficult trying to get teams committed to do a home and home. It just wasn't going to work. We ended up playing FIU twice on a Friday, Sunday at their place, and then they'll return the game next year to try to finish the schedule.
Anybody else has a question, just use the chat. Coach, what is one important thing you think that must happen for your team to be successful this year?
Play together, become a really good defensive team. I think we'll score the ball. I don't think that'll be the issue, but we've got to become a better defensive team than what we are today, and I think we will. But right now, I'd say that's probably the biggest concern is how good can we be defensively. If we can become that team, I think we'll have a chance to be a good basketball team going forward.
Mark Edwards, go ahead.
Coach, you added a new assistant coach. Could you tell us a little bit about him?
Ty Anderson. Ty was with us last year as our basketball operations. He's a basketball lifer. His grandfather's lefty Drizel, so he's been around the game his whole life. Just a hard worker, a committed guy, a guy that I think is going to help us in a lot of ways on the court, recruiting. He's a relationship guy. I think our kids like him. And being with us all last year when that position came open, we were already into school. It just the timing, the fit just seemed perfect.
Mike Paris.
You play Tennessee Tech twice in about 3 or 4 days. That's unusual to play back-to-back like that and a league opponent like that, is it not? Have you ever done it before?
I think one year we were here, we played Belmont and Tennessee State back-to-back weekends. But I don't know about three days. But I think John's got a game on we were going to have to play it the 13th, 16th, or 13th, 17th. There just was no way around it. I think he has games on the 19th, the 22nd. We had games prior to that. So we just had to do the best we could to try to work it out. I mean, we could have gone with one in December and tried to work another one in January, February, but I don't think that was the smart thing to do. And I just told John, we'll make it work. And we even looked at playing the 13th and the 15th, but just thought one more day might be good for both of us.
Teddy, go ahead, follow up.
So many new guys and such a late start. Is it going to be kind of one of those things where even a few games in, could see different lineups? Obviously, there's not a lot of time until conference schedule with this season being so weird.
Yeah, obviously, it could be. I mean, I think we had more starting lineups last year than at any point in my coaching career. But we just could never get settled on anything. There was never any consistency. I hope that's not the case with this group. I think we'll be better if we can find starting line. It doesn't necessarily have to be the 5 best players, but the 5 guys that play the best together. We're going to have some guys playing off the bench that'll play major minutes because I would say our strength is our depth. you see us, we've got some options, and you know, I wouldn't want to have 2 or 3 bad practices in a row with this team if I was one of the starters.
Coach, playing off that question and what you said earlier about the depth of the conference, 13 all OVC returners this year out of the 16, which may be one of the highest numbers ever. Can you expand on that a little bit? It seems like everybody that was a star in the league last year is back.
Well, I don't think there's any question. I think that goes to what I was saying earlier, the depth in this league. There's just so many good teams. You know, I know a couple years ago we had multiple teams in the NCAA tournament. I think that could and should be the case again this year. I know with a full schedule, I really believe that would be the case. But we'll see, you know, with not being able to play some of the non-conference games that we're accustomed to playing, will that affect some of the ability to get in the NCAA tournament? We'll just have to wait and see. But I think there's going to be some teams that aren't picked at the top that have a chance as well.
Teddy, did you have a follow-up? Sorry if I missed you.
No, you're fine. Just can you talk, I know you talked about Brandon Huffman a little more. Can you expand on him and what you've seen and what he's brought to your program?
We knew Brandon was a really good player. I mean, we saw him in high school and watched some clips on him when he was at North Carolina, but he gets better every day. You know, since I've been here, I don't know that we've had anyone like him. You know, he's a combination of a couple guys. You know, he's a quick leaper. He runs the floor. He's 6'11", 260, 270. He's got a chance to be a really good player in this league. I know his numbers at North Carolina don't jump out at you, but I don't think you'll see those type of numbers here. You know, we're going to get him the ball, and I think he has the ability to score it.
Harry, follow-up question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Amanze as well. I'm not going to try to say his last name, but you got
Gumaze.
between he and Brandon, you get 2 very big athletic guys. How does that change the way you guys go about things, or how can you utilize them at the same time?
Well, Amanze is a little different. I mean, he's extremely athletic, but he can face up. He can make threes. He can post you as well. They're different. You know, Amanze is more of an athletic runner, jumper, and you know, typical of some of the 4s we've had in the past that can make threes. Very talented. I think the learning curve as far as what we're trying to do, hopefully over the next month, is those guys can figure out what we're doing, because we need them to be at their best. And we've got more size. I mean, we still got Zelznak, who's 6'11", Marty Rube, who's been playing terrific, 6'10". We still got other size. I can't even remember all of them, but we've got depth and we've got size in the post.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Mark Edwards, you're next.
How has Kane looked this preseason? He was a standout last year, and obviously we're expecting him to be one again this year.
Yeah, I think he took a big step in the offseason. He put on about 15 or 20 pounds of muscle. His ability to work every day and has just gone to another level. I said when we signed him that his best basketball days were ahead of him, and I'll say that today. I think he's got more room for improvement, and I think he's a kid that he's conscientious of what he's doing. He wants to be a player, but he's a great kid. So those guys usually just continue to get better, and you know, I'm happy that he's on our side, and I think he'll have a big year for us this year.
What was it about him athletically that made you predict this kind of upside for him?
You know, again, he was young. I mean, he wasn't. He should really be a junior in college right now, age-wise. But he's. I think just his ability to work. He's so athletic and so quick. We played him at the 4 predominantly all last season. He'll play some there this year when we try to play smaller. But we'll play him on the wing a lot this season. I think that's his most natural position. I think that's where he feels most comfortable. But again, he's played really well here in the preseason, and his ability to get in that weight room and put on added strength is just going to help him so much this year.
We got a couple more minutes with Coach Harper before we move to Kayne Henry. So anybody has a question, just use the chat. Let me know that you have a question. I'll call on you. Anybody else? Anything for Coach Harper? Well, Coach, we're going to let you go then. If nobody else has questions, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much, and best of luck to your team this year.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody will hold tight, and we will have senior guard forward Kayne Henry on with us just 1 minute. There you go. Kayne, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you loud and clear.
If you have a question for Kayne Media, just let us know in the chat, and I will call on some people after I ask him a couple. We're going to start with an easy one. What are you most looking forward to this season?
I mean, it's been a while since you've played against another competition. We've been going at it in practice a lot, so I'm looking forward to our first game on the 25th against Alabama.
What for you was the hardest adjustment to get through the pandemic, through the summer, to get to where you are right now?
Really, for me, it was just getting in the gym and going against other people because I didn't get to go home this summer, sorry. And it was pretty much me by myself at the school, working out in a weight room every day. And it was just pretty much just trying to find someone to go against, trying to work on my game and everything. But pretty much it was all right. It wasn't that bad.
And then so when you did work on your game, what do you feel you've most improved in from last season to this season?
Definitely my ball handling, because I think Coach Harper said it earlier, moving me to that 3 spot. So I feel like I would have to improve on my ball handling more. So that's what I've been working on over the summer. I'm improving here and there, improving every day. So see what happens later on in the season.
We're going to open up to some questions from the media, and we'll start with Harry Schroeder first. Harry, a question for Kayne.
Hey, good morning, Kane. Just want to ask you, what do you like? What do you enjoy? What do you experience playing for Coach Harper? He's been a guy that's been around forever and has lots of success. Talk about him a little bit.
I think one thing that excites Coach Harper is the energy from the team. So me personally, every night, I'm going to be on the floor working hard every night. And once that shows, it kind of like leeches onto my teammates and Coach Harper. And honestly, it's just a good atmosphere, to be honest, when you're around that type of stuff. So just bringing that energy every day.
And you guys have so many new players. Can you talk about a couple of your new teammates, guys you're excited to play with this year?
Obviously, we're a lot bigger, probably the biggest we've ever been. Most of our guys are like 6'6" plus, other than like 2 guards, point guards. Brandon Huffman, very excited to see how he does this season. We haven't really had a big like him. And Amanzi Ungamezi, another one I'm excited to see. Kind of stretches out the floor for us a lot more than we could have ever done. So that's another thing I'm excited for. And I'm Jay Powell, another one, probably like 6'8", 6'9", another guard that be playing the wing spot. And Jalen Finch and Darian Adams, a lot of weapons that we have this year that I'll be looking forward to seeing in the season.
And so you won't have to be so much defending all the bigs down in the post again this year, will you?
I mean, if I have to, I have to. I'm not gonna back down from a challenge. I mean, I love playing defense, and for me, if every time I step out on the court, I'm gonna look to guard the best guy on every team. So I ain't gonna back down from anyone, any size, honestly.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And we'll go to Mark Edwards.
Kane, with so many new guys, how long did it take you to learn everyone's name?
Surprisingly, I mean, it was pretty quick. I had seen like the commitments on social media, seen everyone's names, and like probably within the first week, I was used to everyone's name. It wasn't that hard.
Could you talk about the chemistry? Coach Harper has talked about wanting to develop the chemistry with all the new people. What do you see in that regard?
That's one thing we do have to work on. Specifically on the defensive end, I feel like personally we have to improve on the defensive end as well. Offensively, I think we found everyone's tendencies, so we just have to continue building from that and work on the defensive side and just make sure everyone's on the same page. And I'm trying to do my part. Me being a returning star senior here, I'm trying to make sure everyone's on the same page, you know.
Mike Paris.
Kane, are you a more confident player this year than you were at this same time last year going into that first season?
Oh, 100%, because last year, I was fitting into a new role that I wasn't really used to, like trying to be that go-to guy most of the time. And that was something that was big for me. And I didn't really fully adjust till probably beginning of the season. And I think I did take a big leap in that. I got used to it eventually. And now right now I know how everything works, plays, positions, everything. So I'm pretty used to it right now. I'm pretty confident. Looking forward to the season.
Jamarius, would you like to ask your question?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Hello, Kane. Hey, so I've seen you play basketball, and you're pretty good. You're pretty talented and everything. I just wanted to ask you, how difficult has it been for you and the team to adjust to everything in spite of COVID-19?
We've had a little setbacks here and there, but we've bounced back from that, and we've continued just leaving off from where we left off before. And there hasn't been much of a struggle within that. So it's been pretty easy for us within practicing, because I mean we compete every day in practice. There's no doubt about that. And every time we go out there, we work pretty much.
Also, I had another question. I'm looking at the men's basketball schedule for the season, and I noticed that the OVC typically plays 18 games, but they extended it and added 2+ games to it to make it 20. How do you feel about the extra 2 games? How do you feel that you get the chance to showcase your talents? You and the team get to showcase your talents more to show everyone what you're made of and everything and all that.
I mean, that just gives us a chance to show everyone what we're made of. So I'm pretty excited for that. And I mean, this year we have to play like we have a chip on our shoulder, and we're gonna show everyone what we're made of this year. No doubt about that.
All right. Also, I saw your first. I'm looking at the schedule. Your first game is against Alabama. It's pretty huge for the whole entire state of Alabama to face the University of Alabama. How important is it to you and the team to be able to open up the first game against Alabama? How big will this win? How big will the victory be if you would pull off an upset against a big school like Alabama?
Honestly, it all starts from there, to be honest. I mean, we saw the preseason rankings, and none of us were happy about the position that they put us in the OVC. So if we were to actually pull off something like that, it'll make a statement in the league. So show them that we're not here to mess around, pretty much.
We got time for 1 or 2 more questions for Kane, if anybody has one. Well, with that, Kane, we're going to let you go. We appreciate your time this morning and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Everybody, we got about 5 minutes before we transition to the Jacksonville State women's team. So everybody hold tight. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.